So I also am happy because I know both of you. So I know a little bit, I'm not coming in blind, right? Like I know your relationship status and I know you a little bit. So it's going to be a more personal experience, which is fun for me. I love to know the people that I'm working with. So normally, I would start this section off with asking if anybody's in the perfect relationship, and I know the answer to that. So, none of us are, even the one of us who is in one currently. Um, and that's a work in progress, right? So, how many of you two feel like there's supposed to be more than what you have experienced in past relationships and more that you're supposed to be experiencing now in your own relationship with yourself?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and totally working on the second bit.
Yeah.
For
Well,
sure.
and that is so much of why we're here today, because that's where it starts. So we are going to get aligned with the things that matter the most to you in relationships with yourself and others. If you've watched any of my lives this week, I've been saying a lot, your relationship with yourself and then others, in that order, right? And we're going to create some deeper connections with ourselves and each other today so that you can have some more joy and fulfillment in your life. And today we're talking about passion, not necessarily in the bedroom. That might end up on a list, though, as we get to our list later. But passion in life in general. So I will share some slides with you guys, but not like a whole thing. Normally, if we were doing this in a big room together, which is the ideal, I'd have a big slideshow behind me so that you had a couple of different, you know, focal points. So I'll switch between, but not do as many slides as I would have with a bunch of people or if we were in a room together. Maybe by next year we will be, who knows. So tell me why you think passion is important. What will you feel like when you're living with passion? What does your life feel like?
Feels good.
Mm-hmm. What else?
There's all kinds of energy with that, right? So it's like being in action, being in motion, and feeling the joy more fully.
Yes.
And I hesitate saying more fully because it's either fully or it's not fully. Or
No, it could be more fully. Yeah, you could, because you can be experiencing it and then go up a level and not even realize that that level was there before,
right.
right? Okay. So yeah, you'll feel more exciting. You'll feel more excited. You'll feel more fulfilled. You'll feel more turned on, right? More on fire, more lit up from within. Passion brings us to life. It wakes us up. It makes us feel alive. And question, who believes that we each have a purpose in life? Okay. Kathy does. Cheryl, maybe, maybe not. Do you still feel like there's, I remember like 5, 6, 7 years ago, there was like a lot of pressure on finding your purpose. Like, you must find your purpose. What's your passion? What's your purpose? Which is right around the time I got involved in the passion test. Do you feel that there's still that kind of pressure, or has it eased off a little?
I don't know. I think it looks differently since we've been isolated with the pandemic. I think there's been a lot of introspection. If people have kept their jobs or now working from home, or they've lost their jobs and pivoting, or so there's been a lot of, so maybe they're like re-examining it. Maybe it's not as high on the zeitgeist, but we're re-examining.
Right. I like that. I think so too. I think that it's kind of switched from being so much pressure to how I believe it's really the purpose of our lives is to live more fully and to live with joy and to live more authentically with all the beauty and the pain that life uses to bring us into this aliveness, into passion. So, what makes you feel alive are those passions, those things that light you up and make you feel on purpose, that make your life feel meaningful, and they guide you toward living that life that you truly, deeply, passionately love. And so we're going to start with that today. So, start you on that journey of a fully passionate life. And you may have already started. I know Cheryl has. And this is just one more specific area that we're working on. So, today I will share a screen. I will share a slide. That's me. We talked about that. So today, you will get crystal clear on the qualities that matter most to you in a relationship and a partner. You will learn how to attract your perfect partner, or for future reference, bring out the ideal qualities in the one you already have. And I can tell you this works. I'm doing it currently. You'll get the tools to keep you consistently aligned with creating and maintaining your ideal relationship. And if you don't know it already, you'll learn the Passion Dust formula for creating a life and a relationship that you love. And you'll find out the #1 secret that guarantees a passionate, fulfilling life, whether single or attached. Now, if you've been through the Passion Dust process with me, then I encourage you to come with a beginner's mind. So really be present and open to anything that you may learn differently hearing it a second time. Cheryl's, full disclosure, going through the passion test with me. So just know that you'll hear more that you're meant to hear today, even though some of the material will be familiar for you. Okay, so I just want to tell you a little bit about where this all comes from. So before I tell you about Janet, you guys know me, so I don't have to tell you too much. Cheryl, Kathy, and I are in a business mastermind together, and Kathy, Cheryl is in the meetup, and she's local, so she's been coming to my meetup. So we've all spent some time together. So this is what makes this an even more exciting couple of hours or 3 hours or however long it takes. It might be quicker because there are only 3 of us. So I'm a certified life coach, speaker, happiness trainer with a focus on not only happiness, but purpose and passion and a lot of self-love, right? So I also am certified because I'm a recovering certification junkie. And I'm also certified in the mastery of self-love, which really was for me, all of what we learned to teach is for us, right? And so the more I've learned and the more I teach it, the more I live it. And the more I can show it as a demonstration instead of just a teacher, which is another reason that I'm very happy you're both with me today. So my purpose in this life is to be a guiding light for you, to show you that it's not only possible to live beyond your pre-programmed expectations, but it's absolutely in your power to create a life you love. And I know that you can do it not only because I've taught others, I'm qualified to teach others how to do it, but I've done it myself. Okay. And I've witnessed my students doing it themselves. I've moved from a life where I felt stuck and desperately unhappy. I was depressed. I was angry. I was resigned to just get through life. And I have radically transformed my life experience to one where I am happily walking my talk. I live with joy and gratitude and passion every single day. And I am one of the happiest people I know and have ever known. And so one of the ways I teach people how to create a life they love is through workshops like this and private sessions. I help you identify the 5 things that matter the most to you in your life right now, 5 specific things that you want to be, do, feel, or have in your life. And then I show you how to align your life with those things so that every day can become more joyful and fulfilling. And today, instead of getting clear on the 5 things that matter to you in your whole life, you're going to get clear on the 5 things that matter the most to you in your intimate relationships. And this will apply to all of your relationships, including yourself. And specifically, we're going to hone in on that romantic one so that when you leave here today, you will be able to move into potential relationships with more confidence, with more self-assuredness, with stronger boundaries and an awareness of what you want and what you don't, so that when you see it, you recognize it. So that if you have a date and you see things that are on your list, you're like, "Ooh, Yes, check. And if you see things that you don't like, you'll be able to also recognize them. And that way, it's not this clinging to a potential relationship, it's more of like an interview. Those first few dates are more of, or chats or Zooms are more of like an
Oh,
interview. Like, we're trying you on. I want to see how you are. And I'll probably get into this more later, but one of the things that I did after taking myself through this process and I had like, the last time I did this was, I think, 6 years ago. In fact, I thought it was 5 years ago, but it was 6 years ago. And what I learned from I had about 25 people at that workshop in person. It was so much fun. Was that as I was dating, because I was single then and newly divorced, I was picking up aspects, right? So
right.
if I was dating someone or went on a date and saw aspects of what I wanted, then I would note it. Okay, the universe is providing it for me, right? It's showing up. I'm seeing that it exists. I'm going to catalog that. And if it wasn't a good package, then move on to the next one. But aspects are what I started to notice so that I could say, yes, all these qualities and characteristics that I want in my ideal partner exist. And
Right.
eventually I'll find them in one, or mostly one. All
So
right.
it's like seeking evidence.
Yes,
Right?
exactly, Kathy.
Evidence. It's like,
Exactly.
oh, there it
Right.
is. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So that slide you saw for a brief second was Janet Atwood, who is the creator of the Passion Test. So this is what I based this workshop on. So I just wanted to tell you a quick story about where it came from. So it's from the book, The Passion Test, which I have like 6 copies in my house, but not one on my desk. And Janet Bray Atwood was a meditation teacher in California in the Silicon Valley area. And she was loving her job, but she wasn't making any money, and she was living out of her car, and she was like as miserable as she was happy. And so one day she got a great job that made her even more unhappy, and she was terrible at, but it was supposed to make her lots of money and wasn't, because she hated it and was terrible at it. And so she skipped out on work one day and went to a seminar which was by Deborah Poneman, one of the first personal development speakers ever back in the 80s when this stuff first started coming out. And Janet heard some things that day that changed her life. One of which was that of the 100 most successful Americans, a study had shown that they all had one thing in common. And that was that they had all figured out the 5 things that mattered the most to them personally and professionally, and had achieved those things. And they were now living this very successful life. So Janet thought, well, gosh, if I can figure out my 5 things, I'll be successful too. And then I might have to get up and assist a cat. This happens periodically in this house. And then she also saw Deborah doing what she was doing on this stage and thought, well, this is what I want to do. So I'll leave the rest of that story to an actual Passion Test workshop. But Janet went on to be one of the most renowned personal development leaders of our time. She is the author of several best-selling books now. She was one of the driving forces behind the movie The Secret. And she, with Jack Canfield, who you may have heard of, Chicken Soup for the Soul, she developed a transformational leadership council that she is on with transformational leaders from all over the world. And now there are Passion Test certifications for a bunch of things, working with kids and teens, working with business, working with self-love. So I am certified in both the Passion Test and the Mastery of Self-Love, and have my feet in the business door. But
that was going to be a question.
Yeah. Yes. So maybe we can play with that sometime, Kathy, because it's one I started but never finished because I was like, bad business. I like the fun stuff, but mindset work, business is fun, right? All right. So are you ready to dig in? Yes, good. I love it. So even though we're just a few and I can see your faces,
Take care of the kitty.
Yeah, before we dig in, Mountain is gonna go.
Aw,
Come here, buddy. Come here.
that's a very vocal kitty.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I have 3 of them here. One of them's my daughter's.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
I have no fur kids at this moment. I just got done dog sitting 3 big dogs
Oh,
last week. So
One of them is a Sphinx, the bald cat.
yeah,
You want to see her?
sure.
Hold on. There you
I have
go.
all babies in the basement.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Well, she does have a little bit of fur on her face.
Yeah, a little bit.
She's camera shy.
Oh my
This
gosh.
is Janelle. Her name's Janelle.
Hi, Janelle.
Yeah. this
Like,
is
I don't know about
Janelle.
this. You guys are weird.
All right, we're gonna let her go, get off the stage, and I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay.
And there's Janet. Isn't she lovely?
Okay.
Okay, now, do you recognize some of these faces?
Oh, holy shit.
Yes.
Wise
All of
guy.
them.
I know, I thought that would be fun. So what do Oprah, Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, what do they all have in common?
Incredible orators speak. They're outward focused givers.
And living
Yes.
their passions,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So, living their passions. So, questions. Cheryl, could you do Mother Teresa better than Mother Teresa did?
Could I do her?
Yeah, could
Be
you
her?
be her better than she was?
I don't think so. I think she was perfect.
Exactly. Kathy,
Yes.
could you be a better Oprah than Oprah?
Well, hells no. No, 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 no. I wouldn't want to be.
Likewise, could Gandhi be a better Kathy than Kathy?
Well, no, because he doesn't, have the hair.
Right? So the point here is that no one can do you as well as you do. Okay, we all bring these very beautiful gifts into the world, and none of us bring them in quite the same way. Even if we're all great speakers, we all speak differently. We all speak to different people, and different people are attracted to us because of our unique gifts and our unique ways of being and showing up in the world. So you be you, right? You be you. And the same goes for relationships. So in your life as an individual, you want to bring what you bring to the world in that unique way, but only you can. And relationships are the same. They're based on the unique individuals within relationships, the unique personalities, the unique desires, the drives. So you showing up fully in your relationships happens when you know how to show up fully in your life.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the next slide. Okay. So another reason passion is important. Well, a Gallup study in 2014 found that only 31% of working Americans are passionate about what they do. So in a room full of people, this is pretty dramatic because I'll have 10 stand up.
Yeah.
And then ask everyone, okay, how many of these people do you think are living a truly passionate, fulfilled life? And most people overestimate because we wish it were so.
Right.
As one after another sits down and only 3 are left standing.
Oh my gosh.
Right? That's pretty dramatic. So 3 out of 10 people are living a fulfilled life. And this does translate pretty well across the Western world. So it's not just in the US. So how do you think that might translate into personal relationships? How many couples are actually experience truly happy, fulfilling relationships?
Probably the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there's a study that can actually be done on that because people don't necessarily share all of that. We only are looking at divorces, which are 1 out of 2 marriages, right? So 50%, that means 1 out of 2 relationships aren't truly happy. So, and this is because for a big part of that is because people aren't fully showing up as who they are or communicating their expectations and desires in the relationship, therefore not giving their partner an opportunity to meet those expectations and desires, right? So we're
Right.
going to learn some things about ourselves today so that we can. All right.
Mhm.
So this is a quote, Cheryl, you've heard it recently. This is one of my favorite quotes. It's from the Bhagavad Gita, which is an ancient religious text. And it says, as you can read, curving back on myself, I create again and again.
Osho.
I love to repeat it. So what does it mean, curving back on myself, I create again and again? What do you think it means?
If you look at my resume, I've lived a lot of different professional lives, but it's like I've always recreated myself every single time. It's like I learn something new, and even if I'm hearing the same thing, technically, I hear it differently because I'm not the same person I was even a year ago.
I love that. And any other possibilities, any other translations for this quote?
I think curving back on myself is like trusting myself.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as I trust myself, then like we're talking about, I can be myself.
Mhm. That's beautiful. Well done. Okay, and I'm going to give you yet another way of looking at this quote. Curving back on myself, I create again and again means everything is created first within and then externally. So
Mhm.
first I create it internally and then it shows up in my physical world.
Okay. That was like, oh hell. I
Right?
have to write that one down.
So if you look around, everything in the room you're in the room you can see that I'm in, was first just a thought in someone's mind, and then it became manifested through physical means. Your thoughts are creating your reality. How you think about yourself, how you think about relationships, how you think about what you can or cannot have in your life. I heard a quote just this morning. So I'm going to pull it out because I wrote it down because it's going to end up on one of my pretty pictures that I put on social media. How do you know what you really want? Look around. Because what you really want, what you truly want, or what you're willing to want is what you're experiencing. So if you're not seeing what you think you want, then it's time to go deeper and see what thoughts are there, because what you see is what you're telling the universe you actually want, maybe to keep you safe, right? So I ask you today to start to consider what you really want on your conscious level so that you can then get it into your subconscious, and pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to the thoughts that come up that might be giving you this relationship-less experience right now. And by relationship-less, I mean only intimate relationships, because you're clearly having relationships, right? We have one right now. We're relating to each other. So how many of us really take the time to go deep within and see what is important to us? Because what you believe in your heart of hearts is what you create from within yourself. So if I believe that relationships don't work, or that I'm better off alone, then that's what I'm going to keep creating in my life. Okay? Okay. All right. So normally at this time, I read one of my favorite books. I say normally, I've done this workshop once, but so normally I read this book, The Missing Piece.
Aww.
But I'm going to sum it up instead. And then I'm going to have us watch a cool graphic YouTube version that some kid, of course, put together of this book's follow-up, which I only discovered a few weeks ago when I was prepping for this. So have either of you ever heard or read of this book? Heard of or read this book? Okay. So I used to read this book like at every coffee social at church. when I was a kid. It was in the library, and I didn't really like church or the donuts, so I read the book. So the missing piece. This guy, he's missing his piece, right? So this
Mhm.
little guy missing his piece. So he was missing a piece, and he wasn't happy. Look at that poor sad face.
Oh,
So the whole book is about his search for the missing piece. And he sings a song as he rolls along. I'm looking for my missing piece. This is how the song goes in my head. Looking for my missing piece. Howdy ho, here I go. Looking for my missing piece. And he just rolls along and he bakes in the sun and he sees butterflies and he stops and he talks to worms. And sometimes he falls in a hole and he gets out. And sometimes it snows and he's freezing, but then the sun shines and then he's warm again. And he has all of these amazing experiences. And along the way, he meets different pieces. So butterflies are a lot of parts where he's just having fun, going up mountains, down mountains. Okay, so he finds a piece, right?
Mhm.
And he says, oh, I found my missing piece. Cool. And this piece says, I'm not your missing piece. What are you? Slow down, fella. No, no, don't go greasing your knees and fleecing your bees. I'm nobody's missing piece. And he just goes on his way. So missing the piece sadly rolls on. And he finds another piece, but it's too small. Falls out, finds another piece, gets stabbed.
Jeez.
Right? Bunch, finds another one, it fits, but it breaks. He holds it too tightly. Another one he holds too loosely and it falls out. You get the picture. And eventually he finds a piece and he's like, oh, you probably don't want to be my piece. And the piece says, well, why not? I can be my own piece and I can be your piece. And so they match up. Yeah, they fit. Right? Sweet. So sweet. It's a perfect fit. And they go rolling along. But they go rolling along so fast that he can't talk to the worms. He can't stop and visit with the butterfly. He can't stop and smell the flowers or enjoy the sun. All he's doing is rolling and rolling and rolling. And he realizes that that's not so fun. And so he stops and he lets this piece go. And he goes on his way singing about looking for his missing piece again. And that's the end of the story. And I love that story. And I have always loved that story because what does it mean? We're not missing a piece,
no.
right? We're not missing a piece. And we are already whole. But now I want you to enjoy 4 minutes of this story where the missing piece meets the big O, which I also love the title of, especially in a workshop like this, but it's really clean. So it's not what I'm thinking, at least. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to flip back over to this story. Can you see it? Is it full on your screen?
Yes.
Okay, hopefully you'll hear the audio. Let me know if you can't by like waving because I can still see you.
The Missing Piece meets the Big O by
Okay.
Shel
Is
Silverstein.
it too loud, too soft? Good.
The missing piece sat alone, waiting for someone to come along and take it somewhere. Some fit, but could not roll. Others could roll, but did not fit. One didn't know a thing about fitting, and another didn't know a thing about anything. One was too delicate. One put it up on a pedestal and left it there. Some had too many pieces missing. Some had too many pieces, period. More came. Some looked too closely. Others rolled right by without noticing. It tried to make itself more attractive. It didn't help. It tried being flashy, but that just frightened away the shy ones. At last, one came along that fit just right. But all of a sudden, the missing piece began to grow and grow. Well, I didn't know you were going to grow. I didn't either, said the missing piece. I'm looking for my missing piece, one that won't increase. Bye. And then one day, one came along who looked different. What do you want of me? Asked the missing piece. Nothing. What do you need from me? Nothing. Who are you? Asked the missing piece. I am the Big O, said the Big O. I think you're the one I've been waiting for, said the missing piece. Maybe I'm your missing piece. But I'm not missing a piece, said the Big O. There's no place you would fit. That's too bad, said the missing piece. I was hoping that perhaps I could roll with you. You cannot roll with me, said the Big O, but perhaps you can roll by yourself. By myself? Missing piece cannot roll by itself. Have you ever tried? Asked the Big O. But I have sharp corners, said the missing piece. I'm not shaped for rolling. Corners wear off, said the Big O, and shapes change. Anyhow, I must say goodbye. Perhaps we will meet again. And it rolled away. The missing piece was alone again. For a long time, it just sat there. Then, slowly, lifted itself up onto one end and flopped over. Then, lift, pull, flop. It began to move forward. And soon its edges began to wear off, and its shape began to change. And then it was bumping instead of flopping, and then it was bouncing instead of bumping, and then it was rolling instead of bouncing, and it didn't know where, and it did not care. It was rolling.
That's adorable. That is
Isn't that
adorable.
wonderful? So
Mhm.
you get the point. Right? Any questions?
No, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Well done, to
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
human.
Right? So it's amazing.
It's really cute.
Really cute and really poignant because
Mhm.
we are already whole. So we are not someone else's missing piece, and we are not missing any pieces. And when we realize this, when we embrace our wholeness, this is when we can really show up with someone else. So if I'm projecting, right? So I create internally first and then externally. So if I'm projecting that I'm missing something, as I explore relationships, I will still always be missing something. The relationships will be missing something because I'm looking for a part of someone else to fill a hole that only I can.
Right.
So until I embrace that missing piece, until I realize there isn't a missing piece, that I'm already whole, no relationship will be truly fulfilling for me. I'll always be searching, I'll always be looking, and I'll always be wanting more. But if, like our friend here, both the original circle with the missing piece and the missing piece itself, who is now just another circle because he's whole, if I discover the beauty within me and in my life, all those butterflies, the worms, the sunshine, the holes, because we all fall into them, and I can get out of them and still feel intact, then I bring that wholeness into my relationships. And as I explore relationships, the other person is simply a bonus, right? It's like if I want to bake a cake, I already have all my eggs, all my sugar, all my gluten-free flour for me, the chocolate, whatever else I want in it.
Yeah.
All the vital ingredients are already here. Icing now is a nice touch, but I don't need it to bake my cake and for it to be delicious on its own, right? And to absolutely love it. But the icing, it's nice to have it. Your partner is like icing on a cake. They make your life richer, more colorful. You can decorate, more flavorful, more beautiful. Buttercream is delicious on or off of a person. So, so what we want to begin to do through practice, it doesn't come like that. It comes through first this recognition of you creating everything that you're experiencing and taking responsibility for it in a responsible way, not a blaming way, right? Blaming doesn't serve us. Taking responsibility does. Self-blame doesn't serve us. It only serves to create a bigger missing piece within us. So when we take ownership for what we're experiencing, when we don't like the results, we simply change our behavior. We examine our thoughts, we do our mindset work, we do journaling, we do gratitude, we use those tools that help us recognize our wholeness. And then we show up that way, and that's what we attract back to us. Okay. And for sure, there will still be some work to be done within relationships. Okay. There are some things that we cannot heal on our own, especially if it's relationship trauma, right? So, you know, for me, you both know a little bit of my story. It was an abusive marriage, and I came out of there needing to heal a lot of what was broken by him, but by me allowing him to break it, right?
Mhm.
And I did so much work, and it was only once I was in a relationship that I realized there was more to do, because then I had to also recognize I didn't know how a relationship was supposed to work, right? So I had to learn that with him, and we're still learning. And that's 3 years now. So it takes a lot of time and patience and willingness, and to see the wholeness in that other person and the wholeness in yourself and go, oh, I think we're two wholes who need a little bit more baking, and we can do that together and help each other with those things that we didn't learn from others, and heal those parts. You know, like I most of my closest friends know this example, but the kitchen is where most of my marriage trauma happened. So I ruined a lot of dinners. I didn't cut carrots right. So I like a lot of my healing took place in the kitchen, and I thought that I was completely healed with that portion. Like I can cook like nobody's business, right? I make some kick-ass meals. I learned from a French guy for 15 years. Got to appreciate that. And yet the first time I cooked for Mike, I got all like, uh-oh, I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to ruin dinner. And I was like, what is this feeling I haven't felt in years? And so it comes up differently as more opportunity to heal the places we forgot were hurt. But it's different because you're okay with or without the relationship now, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Can you speak into that, you know, you guys are both baking the cake? Like,
Yeah.
you each have the ingredients to bake your own cakes.
Yeah. Like
And
we're
it's-
already cakes. We're good cakes, but now we're that layer cake
Yeah.
with the icing in between.
Okay.
You know, so he's got stuff that he has to work on, but it's not my stuff.
Right. Right.
And recognizing that
Oh, that's huge. Yeah.
is huge. And I've got stuff to work on, and I have to recognize that he can't fix it for me.
Right.
It's still my stuff. But
Mhm.
when a certain amount of trust develops, then we can start to work together
Mhm.
and maybe work on the recipe of our cakes,
Mhm.
right? So that each cake gets a little bit better, so that
Yes.
there's a little more flavor, that it puffs up a little bit more, it stands up better, right? on
Yeah.
its own, and therefore we can experiment a little bit more with the ingredients, and we can recognize more fully what we want and what we don't, and set boundaries even after years in a relationship, even after months in a relationship. You start to, this is why that relationship with yourself is so important, because only when you feel like you're worth it
Mhm.
can you then say, okay, this behavior upsets me, right? Like, or when this behavior doesn't happen, this upsets me, and I'd like to see more of this. And here's what I want. And I'm willing to walk away from this because this matters to me. So we're going to find out what that is for you today. Those things that matter so much to you, that even if you love somebody or you're just happy to be in a relationship, because we all have done that. Oh, it feels good to not be alone. It's not that great, but it's better than being alone. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It might be great for a few weeks. And then after that, it's not anymore, right? You get some
Mhm.
needs fulfilled. You have somebody to cuddle with and chat with. And after a while, if you're not a good fit, if that cake is falling down and expecting you to puff it up or vice versa, it's not going to work. That layer cake
Mhm.
won't work. The layer cake will collapse. Okay. So we're going to get clear. Clarity is power. We're going to get clear on what matters the most to you so that you can work on those things within yourself and then show up knowing that in every potential relationship. Because when you're clear, what you want will show up in your life, and only to the extent that you're clear. Okay? So if I know I want to bake a cake, but I'm not sure of all of the ingredients, it's probably not going to turn out that great.
That's true.
Right?
Mhm.
Okay. Another favorite quote about clarity is power, the power to create the life you choose to live. So
Right.
we need to know what we want it to look and feel like for us to be able to create it. So we're going to begin that process of clarity about what is most important to you in a relationship, and you'll take that first most important step in creating anything you choose to have in your love life and beyond. So we're going to begin with a strategic attraction plan exercise. And it might not be easy, but growth doesn't typically occur without effort and self-reflection. And clarity can only exist when we look closely, closely within. So hopefully, I forgot to tell you to have a piece of paper handy. So do you have a blank sheet of paper handy?
Mhm.
Good. So I want you to pull it out, and I want you to, hold on. I gotta grab a piece here. I always have paper everywhere, but just gotta pull it out. I'm a binder. I want you to take it and fold it in half so that there are 4 sections, right? 2 on the front, 2 on the back. And I want you to number the sections. And I don't care where you start with them, but so that you have a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4. And then I want you to title the sheet My Perfect Partner or My Ideal Partner, whichever one feels better to you, or anything else that resonates with you.
At the top up here.
Yep. This is just for you. You're not getting graded, so.
And what were we supposed to write? I'm sorry.
So you number each section 1 through 4, and then you write my perfect partner or my perfectly imperfect partner or my ideal partner. Remember, anytime you hear me say perfect, I mean perfectly imperfect. And then I'm going to ask you 4 questions. And as I ask each question, always consider not what society defines as perfect, but what is perfect for you. Okay? You are a unique individual, unlike anyone else, and that's what makes you amazing and special and perfect for someone else out there. So, nobody's here with their partners, so I don't have to do those rules. Okay, so this is about truth telling with yourself. So I'm going to ask you to be courageous here and not settle in what you write down.
Mm.
Okay. So this isn't about writing down what you'd be okay with in a relationship. This is not what, so if you think, well, so if your thought is, I really want someone who lives 10 minutes away from me because I want to be able to spend lots of time with them because quality time is one of my love languages, then don't be okay with someone on the other coast. Okay. So it's not like, oh, I really want some, but if I find someone from California, it'll be okay. That'll be fine. We'll see each other once a year. That'll be perfect. No, what do you want? What do you really want? This is playtime. Okay. So let it be everything you want. So as I ask you the questions, let yourself tell the full truth to yourself and get to the core of what and whom you desire and honor yourself. So part of self-love in action is honoring your desires and yourself. Okay, so this starts now, if it didn't start before. And okay, fine, good enough. Chuck those words out. They don't exist for the next 2 hours and a half. This is also a judgment-free zone, and that means no self-judgment either. Okay.
Okay.
We're playing, we're imagining, and we're dreaming. So question 1, are you ready?
Mhm.
Okay. Question 1, what are the qualities, characteristics, and attributes of my perfect partner? I think I have this on a slide, so let me pop that up so that you have it in front of you. Did that. Okay. So what are the qualities, characteristics, and attributes of my perfect partner? So, whoops, I get crazy with the mouse. So be specific. I love how this is numbered 111. So apparently these are all really important. All right, be specific. For example, I want these characteristics: an enlightened spirit, open-minded, inherently kind, holds doors open for women and elderly people, loves kids, enjoys karaoke. Yeah, that was actually mine. Sensual kisser, great sense of humor, etc. Okay. Then consider also like where you would like to meet your person. So for instance, if you love to dance, then maybe you want to meet them in dance class. So that would be another attribute, loves to dance. Or and maybe you want them to be good at it. But again, that only matters if it matters to you. If you love the outdoors, maybe you want someone who loves nature and is physically fit enough to do the hiking you like to do. And maybe you would love to meet them at a personal development workshop. I would love to say that somebody met at mine 6 years ago and is a couple forevermore. But I will say that my best friend brought his new boyfriend to my workshop 6 years ago, and they've been married now for two or three. And they're one of the happiest couples I've ever known.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, they're awesome. So they're one of my ideal couples. We can talk about that later. Like, so that I know that great relationships exist.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think, oh, it does exist. It's there in their relationship, right? Okay. So if you love to socialize, you might also want to put someone else who loves to socialize, because if you are majorly social person, you're not going to want a massive introvert because you won't get to have any fun out in the way that you have fun. Vice versa, if you're a big introvert and not into big socialization or big parties or big events, then you might want to write someone who enjoys copious quiet time with me, right? So whatever you want. So start to think about the things that you love and enjoy and write those things down. And then imagine that anything is possible for you. Everything you want is possible for you, and honor your dream partner, believing in the possibility of them. Okay? So it doesn't matter what you really think, because that is a thought that has to be worked on, loosened, released, because it's not true. The true thought is you can have everything you want. And you can also later decide to make some, what's that C word that I'm trying to think of? Where you combine things, you don't get everything you want, but you get most of it.
Compromise?
Yeah, that. That C word I couldn't think of, but I knew it started with a C. So you might also consider compromise later, but that's not now. Okay. So I'm going to give you 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, or when it looks like you're done. List as many as you can think of qualities, characteristics, and attributes of your perfect partner. Ready, set, go. Yes, Kathy?
Yeah, I was like, question. This is turning into a list about what I love to do.
That's okay.
All right. It's like, wait, that's me.
Yes. And wouldn't you love to have a partner who also loves the things you love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hang on a second.
Yep, that is okay.
Your devilish ways.
And the cool thing is that you might notice that these are qualities that you really like in other people, which you already possess.
I've heard this before. Recently. Oh my word. Okay. I'm keeping going here.
All right. I ran out of room. So
I did too. I'm gonna end up going into the one underneath.
grab a second sheet if you need it, just number it. But I'll give you like 1 or 2 more minutes for this one, unless you feel complete. And we'll go on to the next one. Okay, about 1 more minute. You can always go back and add more later. All right, you ready for the next one?
Mhm.
Okay, remember you can go back and add more later. All right, so the second question, so flip to the second portion of your page, is what makes my perfect partner and me tick, not tick off? What motivates and inspires both of us, right? So what gets me excited, what matters, because when I get really clear about what is very important to me, what makes me tick, what makes me get excited, I'll know what makes them tick too, because it will be as important to them. It will also be important to them. When we are in touch with who we are and what matters to us, we can have more fulfilling and satisfying relationships with everyone around us. And this process that I'm taking you through right now works with all relationships, including clients, alliances, partners. Okay, so throwing that out there to my fellow entrepreneur, that you can use this to attract your perfect client as well. For example, so some examples on the list here that I wrote, not just for me, but for others. I tried to be inclusive of what other people might find important, not just my own examples, but we love to uplift humanity, right? We support the right to love and marry whomever we choose, whomever we freaking love. It's not even always a choice, right? Family is a priority for both of us. We care about the environment. We love art, music, creativity. So these values, right? We love helping others, spirituality, physical fitness or holistic wellness, expanded consciousness, tantric sex, politics, if that's important to you, positive mindsets, anything else that you can think of, those things that motivate and inspire you and your partner. Because if you're motivated and inspired by opposite things, you've probably experienced that in a relationship, right? It doesn't work because you get ticked off instead of just feeling like, yeah, like we're on the same page, because of those things that matter so much to you ideally will matter to them too. There are some things that don't matter that much, right? Those aren't the things you write down. You write down the ones that really matter, right? Okay, so ready, set, go. I'll give you about 5 minutes for this one. This one might be a little harder, but you can do it.
This is hard.
Yeah.
This is really, really hard.
But yep, clarity is a process.
I don't even know where to start. I don't know. Isn't that awful?
Think about areas where you get fired up, right? Like
I haven't been fired up very much, Tamara.
if you turn on the news, does anything fire you up? You can start there because it'll just get you thinking. Like I get fired up about Black Lives Matter, especially this month, right? I get fired up about gay rights and all the in-betweens, right? All the letters. All the letters. I get super fired up about that. I get fired up about freedom of religion and spirituality. Like I get fired up about being able to define my own relationship with how I call God, right? And having no church tell me the way. So I get fired up about people being kind to people. I get fired up about people loving themselves, right? So all those things that are really important to you, and like you feel like that rise of passion in your stomach when you talk about it or think about it or see the things that you don't like in the world, oppression, violence, and your family. Like I know family is important to you, right? Your kids are important to you. And so would you want a partner who never wanted to meet your daughters?
No.
No. So
Mhm.
right, so those start there. Start with those things that are very close to you. Or what if you met someone who thought that you shouldn't have a career of your own? Right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
thought you should always stay in the paid job that you have because it's a good secure job, instead of supporting you in whatever you decide is your next adventure.
Hmm.
Right? So someone who supports your drive, your ambition. So you would do the same, right? Like you would, it makes you tick to support each other in your growth. Remember how the piece grew and the part that was holding it was like, I didn't expect you to grow. I didn't want you to grow. Jesus. So right. So it makes me tick to support my partner's growth. And that growth should be something that makes us tick, right? Personal growth, personal development.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Tell what fires me up. could also be like adventure, right? Like adventures motivate and inspire you, going to different countries, traveling,
Mhm.
any of those things that get you excited.
Okay.
What's getting me excited is investing in a new chair.
Yes.
Take a
So,
second.
caring for your physical well-being.
Show.
Mhm. That could also be thrown into the like health and wellness, right? I get fired up about health and wellness. On sex, you could put sex on the list. Or specific
That's a good one.
specific kinds of sex. Like maybe, like if you're into something kinky, you probably want a partner who is open to that, right? So I'm like, I have a friend who, you know, she wants to dominate the shit out of somebody. So they need to be into that, right? For her to have a truly fulfilling relationship. And remember, this is a no judgment zone. You are who you are, and that's all awesome as long as you're not hurting anybody in a way that they don't appreciate.
Hmm. That's a good one.
Yep. Like if flirting makes you tick, you know, like you want somebody who's going to flirt with you or
Hmm.
send you like, you know, fiery texts and it doesn't all have to be perfect harmony either. Like I prefer someone who has my very similar political leanings, right? But if you value intellectual arguing, if that fires you up, if you love debating, you might want a partner who's slightly, you know, off from you so that you guys can grow and learn together and teach each other and open each other's minds. If opening each other's minds is something that makes you tick. So I know this is the hardest of the four, so you're doing great. Somebody who's willing to dig deep for greater clarity around what they want in a relationship. Right? We both love to dig deep into our personal growth. All right, one more minute on this one. All right. We're going to go on to number 3. Remember, you can always come back to these later and add more or get even clearer. All right, slideshow. All right, the third part, so in section 3, what do I want my perfect partner to expect from me? Okay, so have you ever been in a relationship where you felt like the expectations of your partner were unfair or unrealistic and weren't a match for you? Okay, so your perfect partner wants what you want. Okay, So your ideal partner will want what you want. So phrase this in a way that anyone could understand it. So I could read your list and it would be really clear what your perfect partner expects from you, because clarity is power. So some examples. You will get to know me better through this one, because this is so me. This is absolutely, looking back, I absolutely made my own list. They expect me to take time alone for myself. They expect me to be insatiably curious about who they are. I want to know them deeply. They expect me to go out and play with my friends at least once a week, if not more. They expect me to be an encourager. They expect me to want to be with them as much as they want to be with me, and it shows, right? They expect me to be a good communicator so that I can communicate my wants, needs, and desires and expectations. It's no good to have expectations if no one knows what they are. You'll just end up feeling like a martyr. Okay. They expect me to take great care of myself physically and emotionally. They expect me to laugh loudly. I was hushed a lot by my ex-husband, so this became a very important. I have a big boisterous laugh, if you haven't heard it, and I want someone who expects me to laugh loudly and loves that I laugh loudly. I expect my perfect partner to work hard and play harder, right? For me, it's important that someone is ambitious and has goals and works to achieve them, and also who will take time to play hard. I expect my partner to expect me to live with integrity. And I want them to expect me to be great at forgiveness, but to not, use that in a bad way. To just expect that I have a forgiving heart. Let me see if there's other ones. Okay. They expect me to put my children first. They expect me to sing while I cook, because I do. Not all of these are me. They expect me to go to church, could be one. They expect me to be passionate about my work. They expect me to have a great sense of humor, a sense of adventure. They expect me to desire physical affection. So here's a big list for you to get started with. So anything that you want to be able to be in your relationship, or that you would want also from them, what do you want them to expect from you? So in this one, I do invite you to look at past relationships and where you felt like you couldn't be yourself. Okay. And then put, like, my partner expects me to be 100% me in all my glory. Right? So if that's laughing louder or being messy, like, you can write down, they expect me to be messy if you're a messy person and you're good with that, right? Or they could expect you to try to clean up your act. Whatever you want to be, free to be you, write that down. Okay, now be quiet and you write for 5 minutes.
So this could be aspirational stuff. Like,
Absolutely.
again, the cake isn't perfect yet. My cake isn't quite there yet.
Yeah, like, they expect me to continue working on my personal growth and development. They expect me to develop a deeper, loving relationship with myself.
Okay.
And they expect me to expect them to do the same.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
about 1 more minute for this one. Remember, it can be anything. Add any last ones. Remember, you're going to go back and add more later
Mhm.
as you think of even more. You can make it a really long list. It's okay. All right. So, question 4. What is there for me to improve to become a more attractive partner? So now you're going to take what you wrote for number 3 and in part 4, write down which points you could improve. So this is where you consider, who do I need to be, who you already are, but showing up more fully to attract my perfect partner, or those qualities that I find perfect in a partner. And to be, like, you may have heard these words, a vibrational match, right? For your perfect partner. So when we want to attract something in our lives, since everything is energy, everything is vibration, including people, then we want to be at a certain vibration to attract that same vibration. So if I want a partner who expects me to go and play with my friends and like time alone, am I doing that right now?
Mhm.
Okay. If I want my partner to expect me to be a good communicator, am I clearly communicating in other relationships in my life? If I expect my partner, or if I want my partner to expect me to work hard and play harder, am I playing, or am I just working hard?
Right.
Am I taking time for play? Okay. So all of these things that you want, are you being them? So get honest, seriously honest, and write down which points you could improve, because ultimately, just like you realized, Kathy, we want to be who we want to attract. You clearly love yourself because you want a person who is similar. Yes, no matter what, you're not going to find a clone of yourself. It's not going to happen. There are going to be vast differences, and that's what makes it interesting, right? And we want someone who loves us for who we are, who loves the way we are, who loves doing the things we love to do, because that makes it fun and juicy.
Mhm.
So take a look at your number 3s. You can open up your page. You don't have to keep it in the 4s, so that you can see, and look at the ones that you're not currently actually being, and write down on the 4th section what you can improve to show up more in that way that you wrote down they expected you to be. Okay, so I'll give you a few minutes. Any questions?
I'm just noting which ones I get to.
Yes, you're just noting which ones that you can improve to be more of what you want your partner to expect.
Goodness. Ah, I could improve on all of them, Tamara.
And write them down, Cheryl.
Yeah, you got to be the person you expect.
Yeah, and so if you're not, then you know what you've actually been looking for,
Mhm.
right? And why you haven't gotten what you think you want, because you're not being what you want.
Right. It's all about loving yourself.
It sure is.
Hmm.
Okay, do you need more time?
Yeah, just a minute.
Okay.
Okay, I guess.
Okay. All right, now, I don't know what my next slide is. Yeah. So the final step is you're going to write down today's date on this sheet, and where you have some space, write down, today is the day I become everything I say in part 4. Today is the day I become everything I say in part 4. And no pressure on yourself, right? Remember, judgment free. You get to now play at being those things. So you just try it on for today and tomorrow, maybe, or a whole week. And, you know, if your partner would expect you to positively and respectfully communicate your likes and dislikes, then try doing that today with someone who you haven't. Maybe there's already an area in your life where I'm like, you know what, I haven't been speaking up for myself in that area. I think today I'm going to lovingly and respectfully communicate some needs and some wants with this person. Okay. Or whatever you wrote on number 4. Do you want to share any of them? Like, what is an area where you could be more of that today?
Do you want to, you said share?
Yeah, anybody want to share just one?
Have more fun.
Good one, Cheryl. Yeah. So some fun for yourself today. Do a thing that you find fun.
Okay.
You know what that might be?
Well, I know it's something I enjoy, and I do it. I actually do it quite a bit when I can. And I know this is like somebody will say like, oh, wow, you know, that's so little, but the sun is out. And so on my balcony, it's like certain time of the day, which is like coming up actually, I can see the sun shining on my balcony. So even in the winter, I put a chair where I'm situated that I can be in the sunshine.
Yes, that's perfect. That's beautiful.
I love that.
Good. Kathy?
Yeah, so I have a balcony as well, which faces the Zen garden.
Nice.
So I just get to bundle up and I did that purposely so I could sit out and be out and about.
You really do that too?
Really,
go
really do. I do.
It's so cool.
See, you're already attracting relationships where these things are present.
A kindred spirit.
That's right.
There we go.
Okay, good. So yeah, so just try these on and play with them, not just today, but in the next week or 2, and be more of those things so that you can level up yourself and attract people who are also doing those things, caring for themselves, enjoying cold but sunny balcony time, you know?
Yeah.
So what was that like for you other than hard? What was that like for you? Any insights or ahas?
Well, it was the thing about, okay, great, I'm describing me. And then on part 3, which became parts that rolled over to part 4, it's stuff that I've already is on my radar. I just get to focus up. It's like, oh, well, I do need to focus up on these things in order to attract. So
Yeah. Good. Yeah, it's kind of a funny thing. I think a lot of people realize they want someone more like them than they ever cared to think about.
Yeah.
Which to me is awesome, because then it means you're already possessing a lot of qualities and characteristics that you love and appreciate, and maybe you just haven't noticed yet.
Right.
So start noticing.
Start gathering evidence.
Yeah, gathering evidence. So many relationships end or are unhappy even though they continue because partners aren't clear on what they really want. And once we're clear on what we really want, we can more effectively communicate those things. So this is why we're bringing more and more clarity into your experience today, and you'll continue to gain clarity around these things. So don't just stop with today. Look back at your list, add some more. Next week, look at it again and say, oh, you know what? All this last week, I was those things in number 3. Cool, right? So stay playful with it. And remember that clarity is a process. It doesn't happen all at once.
So is this like when we settle, is that comes back to like, for me, like a scarcity mindset, my way of talking about things. So it's scarcity, like there's only so many women that live in Fishers, Indiana, that, or whatever.
Absolutely.
That are my age, that are single, that are not, not, as opposed to
R. Yes, because what you're doing is actually limiting what you can even see.
Right. I'm already like.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I say that, there is nothing blue, then I'm not going to see it, right?
Right.
Because I'm telling my mind, shut that one down,
Right.
right? So
That makes
this
sense.
is also an exploration, which we'll get more into very soon, of allowing ourselves to see more opportunity, right? And to open to it. So normally in this part of the workshop, we do an eye contact experiment where, have you done one of those before?
Like,
Mhm.
well, yeah.
Amazing and challenging. And as soon as we actually can do this safely, I'll be doing this one again. But it's weird on Zoom, so we're not going to do it. What I'm going to have you do instead is play an appreciation game with me.
Okay.
So we're going to take a few minutes, and I want you to, in fact, look at yourself when you're saying these things. So you can make yourself you can pin yourself so that you see your face the biggest, or you can make it speaker so that you see who's speaking. But I want you to look at yourself on your screen when you're saying these things. And I want you to share something that you appreciate about yourself. So we're just going to take turns going around until I feel like saying stop, appreciating ourselves. So for instance, I appreciate that I have a big boisterous laugh and love to use it. So in my Zoom screen, Kathy's to my left, and for some weird reason, I always love to go counterclockwise.
Okay.
I do these things, so that would be you next, Kathy.
Okay. I appreciate that I've colored my hair again because that brings me so much joy.
Good, Cheryl.
I appreciate that I am a
Look
very
at
kind.
yourself. Look at yourself when you say it.
Oh, I appreciate that I am a very kind person.
Beautiful. I appreciate that I help people see more of the beauty in themselves.
And you do. I appreciate that I help people have breakthroughs in just like short conversations. It's
Oh my goodness. You guys are.
We are we, and you are you, and we are all awesome.
I appreciate that I take care of my mom.
yes.
Beautiful. I appreciate that I show up for myself.
I appreciate that I invested in a sleeping wedge and a cooling pad for my bed.
Yeah, that's self-love in action.
I appreciate that I'm taking the time. Oh, I'm supposed to look at myself. I appreciate that I am taking time for myself by learning my guitar and doing something that brings me joy.
Nice. I appreciate that I appreciate my silver hair. And I always notice it more when I'm on a Zoom. So I'm like, yeah, I appreciate my silver hair. I can't wait to chop this stuff off that isn't my natural color.
Yeah, it looks different.
I appreciate your silver hair too.
Thank you.
It's glittery. I appreciate all my curves. I'm finally hitting that bit. I appreciate all my curves because they're me.
It's
Yeah.
awesome. It's awesome. Let me think. Okay, we're on to hair. So I appreciate that I have found someone that actually dyes my hair. I've never gone to the salon to have my hair done. And recently I've started doing that, and that actually is fun for me. So I keep not looking at myself. I appreciate that you are started to go to the salon and get your hair dyed the way you've always wanted it dyed,
Nice.
professionally and with highlights.
Well done. So, some home play for you. I'm going to encourage you to do this at least once a day for the next week. And I want you to look yourself in the eye in the mirror and tell yourself 3 things you appreciate about yourself. You may go on and on and on for as long as you can think of things, but 3 things you appreciate yourself every day for the next week, looking yourself in the eye in the mirror. And it can be stuff about your physical appearance. It can be stuff about how you show up in the world. It can be, that you appreciate that you helped a friend that day. It can be anything, but do try to appreciate yourself, right? And maybe those things that are harder for you to appreciate. Like I appreciate my wrinkles, because if I weren't this old, I wouldn't have any, right? And so I made it this long, right? Or I appreciate laugh lines because it means that I laugh a lot. Or I appreciate my green eyes or whatever shade they are today. So allow yourself not just to appreciate those internal features, but also like Kathy did, the curves, and Cheryl, your hair, and me, my hair, right? And then, so I would say one inside, one outside, and then your choice, right? And then I appreciate my willingness to courageously look at where I'm holding myself back. Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Something like that, right? I appreciate myself for journaling nightly, gratitude or brags or whatever, right? Or at least a few times, or today I did it, so I appreciate it today. Whatever. Appreciate. And don't add any even those bullshit, okay? No, even though I appreciate. Drop the even though, you don't need it.
No qualifiers.
No qualifiers.
No minimizing.
None of them. All right. So let me see where we're at without that. Okay, so now we're going to get on to the passion test portion. So we're going to make a list of 10 things that you love and that are most important to you in a relationship. So now you're clearer already on what that was, because you've done this 4-part plan, right? You've done this 4-part exercise. So now you're thinking, your juices are flowing. You know a little bit more about what matters. And now you're going to put it into a way of creating it. So we're going to say, when my relationship, or when I am in my ideal relationship, I am, or we are. And I'm going to pull this up. I don't know what slides I have for this, and I forget. So let me look. I forget because I can't remember for 3 minutes what's next. And I appreciate that about myself because it makes me laugh. All right. So we're going to make a list of the 10 things that are most important in a relationship. In your relationship, what you want to do, what you want to be, what you want to feel, what you want to have. And you're going to complete the sentence, when my relationship is ideal, I am, or we are. You're going to write in the positive present tense as if it's already happening. Okay? So we are not going to write, I will be, or I want to be. We are writing, I am. Okay? It is already in existence. And we are also not going to write what we don't want. So if I start to write, when my relationship is ideal, I'm not fighting a lot. Right? Don't write that. Write what you actually want. I am enjoying the harmony in our communication. Okay. If you get stuck on those, oh, I had that crap in that relationship, I don't want that again. Well, then turn it around, just like I just did, right? What do I want? I want somebody who accepts all of me. So when I am in my ideal relationship, I am overjoyed with how much of myself I feel free to be. Okay, so short, to the point sentences in the positive present tense. Write legibly, because I'm going to need to see it. So you could either type your list into the chat if you're a typer, or you can write it out and then snap a picture and send it to me. And you both have my phone number, so you can do that so that I have your list in front of me. Because what we're going to do after you make your list is I'm going to take each of you through your list, which the other person can either take a break or watch and listen. And while you're writing it, I'm going to take a bio break. And that way we all get a break, but we're not breaking, right?
Got it.
So also remember, we are not settling for less than everything we desire and deserve. Whether we think we deserve it yet or not, you will eventually if you put all of what I'm teaching you today into practice.
Mhm.
So we are shooting for the stars, relationship of our dreams, greatest expectations, everything we want. Not decent sex once in a while, fucking amazing sex every day I want it, right? Like whatever it is for you. Traveling, having fun and laughing together every day, feeling connected, emotionally supported, taking romantic getaways on a regular basis or every month or every week, whatever matters to you, right? Your ideal. Let's see. Feeling spiritually connected, or our lovemaking is a spiritual experience. Okay. Or we cook together and we're both big foodie, whatever it is for you, that's what you write. Right. So shoot for the stars. Don't settle. Release the word should from your vocabulary. There's no judgment here. Aside from that, you should write down whatever the hell you want in a relationship. Okay. If financial comes in, that often comes in just during an individual passion test, not a relationship one so much. But if it comes in like we're financially stable as a couple, how boring is that? Yes, of course you want that, but what for? Right? So that you can do the traveling, so that you can go to great restaurants, so that you can make your home amazing and buy super deluxe bedding so that it feels so great to be in there, right? Whatever. So make sure you're writing the why of what you would want that for. So here are some other examples. When my relationship is ideal, I am energized, healthy, feeling phenomenally good. I am sharing a beautiful partner with my home near the beach or in the forest or in the mountains, wherever. I'm having fun and laughing with my partner every day. I'm enjoying great sex several times a week or daily or twice a day. I'm feeling connected, unconditionally loved and supported. I'm having respectful, loving, inspiring conversations with my mate. I feel heard and honored and seen. I am inspired to get romantic, right? So any of these things. Okay, blah, you don't need those. So before we do our lists, I just wanted you to have the directions, because what I want to do now is to take you through a meditation to help you get centered in your heart, because passion comes from the heart, not the head. Passion comes when we allow ourselves to feel what we truly want to feel. And our ideal relationship comes when we're experiencing that with ourselves. So I want to give you a taste of experiencing your own true love. And it doesn't matter if you're a meditator typically or not. Matters that you're open to a new experience that will help you touch into that place inside of you that is already perfect and whole and lovable and worthy of everything you want. Okay, so I'm going to invite you to mute yourselves during this time so that we're not distracted by anybody's sounds. And hopefully my kids and cats and dog will stay quiet for the next few minutes. Once in a while, I hear a shout of laughter or a bark, but I'll just work it into the meditation. Okay, let me think of what else. So put your feet on the floor if it's comfortable. Comfort is always more important than position. And with that said, if it's comfortable for you, put your feet on the floor, back as straight as comfortably possible. It's nice to have some support, so sit back if you can, but sit up when you sit back. A straight spine helps our energy to flow through our system more easily and effectively. And then if you're comfortable, close your eyes and just start taking a few deep breaths. A few deep breaths in and out of your nose. And if we're breathing effectively, we're breathing from our bellies. So a belly breath that fills up into our chests and releasing it. So simply breathing and releasing. Breathing and releasing. We tend to live in our heads. We tend to live in the future or the past, and we often forget about the present, which, as the words describes, is a gift. So right now, we're going to take a few minutes to get present and be a gift to ourselves. So take another deep breath in through your nose, and this time out through your mouth, exhaling everything, like until you cannot exhale anymore and your stomach is contracting and you're letting it all out. And then take another deep breath in and hold it for just a moment, allowing everything in your mind, past or future, to collect into the now. And then release it, blowing it out until you can blow out no more. And then return to kind of a normal, soft, easy breath and just notice your breath. Notice how it feels as it passes through your nose. Feel the air. And then follow the trail of your breath as you breathe in all the way to your core, filling up your heart space. Maybe holding it for a moment, maybe not. And then releasing it, listening to the soothing sound of your own breath. Now breathing slowly and deeply and naturally, now that you have this slower, deeper breath, go ahead and put your hands on your heart. And maybe tap that heart center a few times, feeling your heart expand with pure love that exists right now. And we're tapping simply to activate that heart center, to remind us that this is where we live from when we're living fully. And with that, imagine high above your head a golden beam of light shining down from the sky, shining right down through the top of your head and filling your head and your face with this warm, bright golden light. And notice that you feel that it's filled with love, that in fact it is love. And imagine it washing over you, filling your whole face, your whole head, your neck, and your shoulders. And as it washes through and around these parts of you, it's washing you of any doubts, fears, or lack that no longer serve you. And it's taking any tension or stress that might be stored in those areas as this warm light of love fills you and surrounds you, cascading down into your shoulders, down your arms, through your hands. Imagine it growing brighter with every breath, feeling warm and comfortable and loving with every breath. And all of those remaining doubts or fears are being replaced with love and light and hope and joy. And continue to see and feel this warm, loving light filling your chest and your heart space, your back, your stomach, down through those gorgeous curvy hips, your pelvis, and all the way down through your legs, your knees, your toes, and see yourself completely surrounded by and filled with light, filled with love, and feel the warmth and the comfort and the security and the joy that this brings. And now, feeling or imagining your feet on the ground, see that light pass even beyond your feet into the ground and straight through to the center of the earth. And notice that now you're connected with this amazing light of love from above and below. You're grounded completely into this moment, safe right here and now. In this moment of love, of peace, of centeredness, you know that you are deserving of everything that you desire. This life you've been dreaming of is yours right now in this moment. That deep love that you've longed for exists right now within yourself, for yourself, and from all beings. You are one with love. You are the light that fills each one of us. Feel this wholeness. Let it seep into your being at a cellular level, knowing and feeling and trusting that you are pure love and light. And therefore, pure love and light, happiness, joy, fulfillment are yours right now. There is no seeking. There is no searching. There is only now, when you are everything you have ever wanted to be. Now, when you have everything that you have ever wanted to have. Now, when you are rich with deep love and fulfillment, and feel it and fill up with it. And now knowing that everything that you desire is already yours, take a few more gentle, deep breaths into your heart. Maybe wiggle your toes, your fingers, your body to come back into it in this here and now. And open your eyes and begin writing your list. And I'll put the directions back on the screen. When my life or when my relationship is ideal, I am, and please number them 1 through 10. It's okay if you go up to 12, but don't go beyond that. And remember to stay in your heart. Okay. I'm going to put on some soft music, which will be soft on my end. You may have to adjust the volume. And I'm going to give you 10 to 15 minutes. If I see you staring at the screen, it'll be 10. If you're still writing, I'll give you up to 15. And I'm going to share my screen. And you're going to make your list. So there are your instructions. And I'll play some nice music. Hopefully it will share. hear it? Yeah, good. Okay, thank you. All right. At 3:15 or 3:20, we will reconvene. Okay. All right. So you both have your list now of passion. So you both have done tremendous work in clarity in the last few hours, right? You know now all of these qualities and characteristics and attributes that you want your perfect partner to have. You know how you need to start showing up a little bit more in order to attract that ideal partner. And you know what matters the most to you in a relationship right now. Massive steps forward in clarity. So now, as you explore dating in whatever form you're exploring it, and if you're not exploring it, what are you doing here? Because you clearly want a relationship. That's why you showed up today. So start putting your attention on those things. So we'll talk about that in a minute. We have 10 minutes left. We might go over a few, but I'm going to keep it snappy and give you some home play to do so that we don't do it now. Now, the next step in clarity is by paying attention to what matters the most. So I need to adjust my screen a little and share with you. I'm just going to skip all that good stuff. Okay, so this is the formula. Now, remember I talked about a formula. So the passion test is a formula that when you follow it will help you create this life and relationship that you love. And it is intention, attention, no tension, or total ease. So an intention is stating consciously what you choose to create in your life. And you've just done that by creating this passion list, this relationship passion list, and all those qualities and characteristics. So you've set your intention now. This is the ideal relationship that you want to create. Now, how do you get it? Well, you put your attention on those passions, on what matters the most to you. Action engages attention. So you have to actually do something to bring forth these passions into your current life experience. This is not like The Secret where you just write the list and magically it all shows up for you, right? No, that's baloney. They missed a huge part, which is this action part. You have to put your attention, act with inspiration, do everything you can think of to do, which includes potentially dating apps or meetups, more meetups that are more relationship development focused and not business relationships. Maybe when it's safe and you're ready, go out and socialize where it's safe for you to do that so that you can meet like-hearted people. Okay, so you have to put attention on creating a relationship in order to actually do it. And then you have the third piece, which is no tension. So you've set your intentions, you're putting your attention on them, and then you're letting go, right? You do everything you know to do, inspired action, all that fun stuff. And then you release and you let go and you let whatever higher power you believe in or however you identify it, you let them take partnership with you in this creation process. You did all this work. Now you can get in the passenger seat and let the universe do some driving for you so that synchronicity can occur, so that you can have this or something better, right? Because our minds are limited to what we can imagine, but all that is universal creator, source, God, whatever you call it, there's no limit. It is limitless. And when you connect to that, you connect to everything and every living being. And you are then limitless in this creation of this ideal relationship and life that you love. Okay. So practical exercises in attention are writing your passion cards. So make that list of these new 5 passions and make a few of them, and maybe on an index card or maybe on a pretty piece of paper, and you put them up where you can see them especially where you might engage in any kind of dating activity, like currently near your computer, right? Or in your car, or anywhere where you're going to see it a few times a day, or in your journal, so that you're putting practical attention on them and getting them into your mind so that you honestly have those 5 things that matter the most to you in a relationship in your head. Okay. All right. So put 3 to 5 of them up in your environment. And then, okay, I said that. Oh, the how is none of your business. So if you start thinking, yeah, but how am I going to do this? Should I do Zoom dates? Should I do blah? Just take your inspired action, and the how will show up. Actually, I love this. The how will be revealed with constant imperfect action.
Yep.
Okay. The how will be revealed in constant imperfect action. So just keep taking your action and paying attention, and the how will show up for you. Okay. Now, I want you to do 2 things for home play. Number 1 is scoring your passions. Oh, I forgot to tell you the secret. You want to hear the secret? So the secret to creating this relationship in life that you love is that whenever you are faced with a choice, a decision, or an opportunity, you choose in favor of your passions. Okay. So every time, if a relationship opportunity comes up and you ask yourself, is this one in favor of my passions? Do I feel like I can truly be myself with them? Do I feel like my physical needs are getting met? Do I feel like I'm happy and confident to my core? If it's a yes, keep going. And if it's a no, reevaluate, maybe step back, try someone new. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, lasting success in relationships and life, okay? Enduringly successful people develop the habit of always choosing in favor of their passions, of those things that have deep meaning for them personally, no matter what anyone else, kids, friends, sisters, brothers, dogs, colleagues, peers, no matter what anyone else thinks about their decisions. They're confident in themselves and they value themselves enough to choose in favor of themselves and their passions. So this is a practice that can become a habit over time. Okay? It doesn't happen overnight. It took me years, honestly, to be like, oh yeah, I just choose in favor of my passion and the house shows up. All good. Good. Okay. I've been doing this for a long time now. And really, it took a good 3 years for me to really feel like, oh yes, this works. Okay. I trust it. 3 years. Keep doing it so that 3 years from now, you're like, oh yeah, I got this. I know it. I have evidence, right?
Right.
That this works. But it doesn't work if you don't. Right? Everything works when you do. Everything. All right. So on your own, because we don't have time, you're going to score your passions. So 0 to 10. 0 meaning you just put them on the list. You didn't even know they mattered in a relationship. 10 being this is already fully present. Neither of you are going to have a 10 today. Okay? Because neither one of you are currently in a romantic relationship to the extent where they could be, right? So also, though, give yourself some credit for where you are putting your attention on them. So if any of these are showing up, I'm just going to look at both your lists really quick. So Cheryl, when you're feeling particularly confident, or you're just feeling confident, like you're swiping left like nobody's business because you know for sure that's not for you, then you're already feeling some confidence in relationships. So give yourself some credit. It might be a 2 or a 3. That's okay. That's something. Low scores only mean that you haven't been putting your attention on those things, and now it's time to. Okay. And so just so I don't leave you out, Kathy, communication, right? Communicating with clarity, compassion, and kindness. Are you doing that in your life in different areas now? If you are, give yourself like a 2 or a 3. You're not in an intimate romantic relationship doing that necessarily, but you're doing it somewhere. And so you get to give yourself some credit for that. Okay.
Cool.
Now, if anybody is having a lot of fun sexually, go ahead and score that up higher too. Okay, but give yourself some credit, but remember, room for growth is a great thing because you're clearly not where you want to be today. So allowing for growth, you get to actually watch those scores increase as you choose in favor of your passions and as you put attention on these things. And a year from now, maybe even 6 months from now, you'll be able to look back at your passions, rescore them, and be like, damn, things are happening. Yes, I'm getting closer. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So that's your home play number 1. I'll send you a follow-up email probably first thing tomorrow. Okay, maybe not first thing because I'm actually mostly taking tomorrow off, but with all these home plays, and I'll send you the slideshow and I'll send you the replay at some point tomorrow so that you have it and you can rewatch these things that I'm sort of fast forwarding by because it just hit 4:30 and I have integrity around time. Your fulfillment depends on your clarity. So remember that clarity is a process and it doesn't stop here just because you've got this list now. You can keep clarifying these things. You can keep getting even clearer. And I'm going to schedule a follow-up with you, Kathy, because I don't want to skip over this and I want you to be able to make markers. So I might either shoot a quick video on it and send it to you, or just send you printed directions. But I want you to make markers for your, I'm skipping all this, passion. So a marker is a signpost that means you're already living that to a 10.
Okay.
It's not an on the way event, it's an already there. So if my passion is to visit Kathy in Indianapolis, then nowhere on my markers is that I'm in my car.
Right.
It's that I'm sitting with Kathy, like running my fingers through her cool blue hair. Okay. That's the ideal for that. Like I want to be cuddled on the couch telling Kathy how groovy her hair is. And can we dye mine too?
Yes.
Just the tips. Just the tips, please. So skipping over the rest of that. All right. So markers should also be in the positive present tense as if they're already happening or have already happened. So for me, to be in the relationship of my dreams, if my passion was communicating with clarity, compassion, and kindness, it would look like I feel confident expressing myself with my partner, and I feel a sense of love when I do it. Or even before I communicate clearly with my partner, I remember how much I love them and speak from that place.
Yep.
Right? That's a marker, right? That's what I do with my kids when they piss me off.
Yeah, I love you.
Yep, I remember I love you, so I'm not going to yell right now. I'm going to speak with loving kindness. So
Yeah. Gotcha.
okay. So I'm going to send you this slideshow so that you have the instructions. And for you, Kathy and Cheryl, maybe I'll send it to you too. I'll do a quick video because there's a story that helps markers get really clear and it makes me all misty and I love it so much that I want to share it, but I'm hungry and it's 4:32. All right. Oops, I go crazy. So all these instructions will be there, but you're going to make like 3 to 5 markers for each passion to make it even more clear what that looks like, feels like, getting all of your senses involved when you're living those particular passions to a 10. Okay, so examples will be sent to you. If it's that getting all my physical needs met, if physicals mean intimate loving, then we touch and hug throughout our time together. We hold hands in public. We both enjoy PDA. Kissing is our favorite hobby. I feel safe and respected, and I feel intensely satisfied after we make love. Communication, this is one of yours. We're fully present with each other, no distractions, several times a week. Our conversations are exciting and inspiring. I feel loved and heard. So if that didn't end up in your top 5, make it a marker. We know each other well enough to finish one another's sentences, and we listen until the other person is finished speaking. Okay. Yeah. All right. We're going to skip over this part. I'm going to probably end up doing this I'm going to do this part in like a 5-day value add for my group. And since you're both in that, you'll get it. Okay. So I'm going to go in depth talking about nature's guidance system because it's one of my favorite things in the world. It's probably my number one tool for creating a life I love, because I am reminded that it's not always feeling good and it makes it okay. Let me see if there's anything else I really, really, really want to spend time with you on. Okay. No. So I'm going to stop my share. I'm going to send you some things tomorrow so that you have the slides so you can review them as you're going deeper into your own clarity, and so that you can remember to make your passion cards and put them where you'll put your attention on them. You'll make your markers, and I'll just send you this stuff so it's even clearer. And then I invite you to send me your markers so that I can watch your words for you and make sure that you are shooting for your relationship stars and not settling. Oftentimes we'll say things like, my marker is if I want to have an exceptionally satisfying sex life with my partner, I might be like, oh, we have sex at least once a week. If I'm telling the truth, that is bullshit for me. I want it like 3 to 5 times a week minimum. Okay. So I got a high drive. And so, so put your ideal, like be real with yourself. This is where you honor yourself with your own honesty about what you truly want, not what you'll settle for, not what will be good enough, not what would be fine, because I'd just rather be in a relationship having some sex than, no, you want the shebang of the relationship, right? So write that stuff down, because that's how you get it, okay? When you're clear, you're able to communicate clearly, and that's how you get what you want. I really only just learned that, so in a relationship setting. Yeah. I mean, I knew it, but I wasn't living it. So it makes a big difference. In fact, he'll be here to cook my kids and me dinner soon because I broke up with him and then was able to communicate clearly. So true life examples matter. Okay. Finally, in summation, the most important tool for creating a life or a relationship you love is commitment, your commitment to yourself and this process, because everything's a process and everything's a practice. And so if you commit to what you learned today, to doing the things that you learned today, taking action and living that formula, intention, attention, no tension, or total ease, as I like to flip it, then this will happen for you. Yeah. And if you leave today and say, that was cool, well, that's a neat list, and it goes in the drawer, right? Nothing's going to change for you. So I don't offer a guarantee for any of this to work, but you can offer that guarantee to yourself by doing the work and keeping up with it and continuing to get clearer and clearer and reviewing what you learned today, especially when you do meet someone new. Look, or someone renewed. Look back at these lists that you've made today and say, is there potential for me experiencing this with this person? Because if not, then that's an easy thanks, see you later. And if so, then, okay, I think I'm going to explore this for a little longer and see what happens, right? We have to explore, because we won't know on a first date or a first interaction or a first renewed interaction. We know by allowing a little bit of time, but not too much, right? Because we can start settling in a very short amount of time. So that's why it's important to keep these qualities, characteristics, attributes, and passions front of mind, right? Yeah. Okay, any questions before we say goodbye?
I'm chuckling over the pick an app, or it's like being in action around it, because I tend to bury myself in work or whatever, right? So it's like, and
And that's not going to get you the relationship that you love. So taking action, even if you just start looking at the different apps
right.
to see which one feels like it fits for you, or asking, friends you trust, not all of Facebook land, friends
Okay.
you trust, like, hey, which app did you use? What did you think about this one? What did you think about that one? And for you, Kathy, there are some different apps that are better suited, right? So, make sure that you're reaching out to your network of people that you trust in that arena, right?
Right.
Because like Bumble bullshit is not going to work for you. So it's probably just weirdos looking for girl on girl action. Right? We don't want that. I mean, some of us don't mind watching, but you don't want that kind of creepo.
Right.
So be mindful of the avenues that you take and make sure that they feel good to you so that you're in integrity all the way around. Okay.
Right.
And of course, I would be remiss in not offering you my further assistance. So I do offer passion support coaching, which right now I'm tweaking it, but essentially it's a 6 to 9 week package of passion support so that we can go deeper into your markers, go deeper into the clarity with new exercises and different exercise, go way deeper into your relationship with yourself, really spending some time locating your blocks, which I do just by talking to you because I hear them come up in your language and what your real beliefs are. And we spend a lot of time on uncovering that inner critic, and then making friends with them, and then shipping them overseas. Okay.
I like that.
Be gone.
We've had a lovely time together. I appreciate your support and see you later now. So, we spend a lot of time, and I could go through the list of what we do, but really it's a package that's created especially for your needs. 6 to 9 weeks of either, I used to say every other week was okay, but in further coaching, I realized it's not really. So I like to do now 3 weeks in a row, a week of integration, 3 weeks in a row, a week of integration. And we can talk pricing if you're interested. I'm still negotiable. So I have a goal price, but even I am working on setting that yes or no goodbye value.
Yeah.
I want to help you as much as you want the help. And so pricing's negotiable. But I'll say no thank you if you're out lowball me. So I do know my worth.
When would this take place?
This would take place when it works for you. It would be, if you were both interested, we could talk about group, but if it's one-on-one, then we would set up a time and day that works well for you, Cheryl. It's 55 to 60 minutes a session.
Okay.
3 weeks in a row and then a break. And we've talked a little bit about pricing. I forget what I told you though, so I'll have to go back and look. But it just is the way to put your attention on creating the relationship with yourself.
Right.
That makes it so much easier to navigate other relationships with self-respect and self-trust and self-love. So yeah, that's what it's all about. So when I send you all this follow-up tomorrow sometime, I'm going to be quite honest, it might be Tuesday because I told my kids tomorrow they're not allowed to be on their screens, and because I was going to take the day off and we're going to be together. So I probably can't either after 10 a.m. and I might sleep till 9. So because I worked yesterday and today. So even though this work does not feel that worky, it feels so much fun and beautiful. So thank you for going 13 minutes over our time and being here long enough to really invite all of this to settle in. And that meditation will be on the replay too, and I encourage you to do it again.
Mhm.
and again and again, because you're worth it. And once you know that, you'll experience that within your relationships, all of them.
Mhm.
And if you don't, it'll be an easy bye-bye or an easier, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. I am grateful. I appreciate you.
This was great stuff. Thank you so much. And
Yes.
Cheryl, it was very nice to meet you as well.
You too, Kathy.
Thank you. And you'll see me in your email box tomorrow. I
Okay.
don't know if I have yours, Kathy. I know I have your Cheryl's. Do I have yours?
I will text it to you.
Text it to me. Perfect. All right. Thank you. I love you. I'm grateful.
All right, bye.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy
Be
Valentine's
your
Day.
own Valentine Day tonight and do something special for yourself other than this. In addition to this.
Okay,
All
I
right.
will.
All right.
Right. Bye.